Behind every star sign lies a dark secret, the sin that could be your greatest downfall. Are you brave enough to face the truth about who you really are? If so, then prepare to dive deep into the shadows of your zodiac sign. This isn't about your strengths or the traits you love to flaunt. This is about the hidden vice that controls you, the deadly sin that lurks beneath the surface, waiting to take over if you let it. This will be controversial because people love to glorify their signs, but what happens when we stop avoiding the ugly truths? What if your zodiac sign is tied directly to one of the 7 deadly sins? Aries Wrath. Let's start with Aries, the warrior of the zodiac. Aries is ruled by Mars, the planet of aggression, action, and warfare. This makes Aries ambitious, courageous, and energetic. But when Aries is consumed by their darker nature, they become the embodiment of wrath. They are impulsive, quick to anger, and thrive on conflict. An Aries in their wrath is like a storm. You'll never know what hit you. They take things personally, react without thinking, and lash out at anyone who stands in their way. They can burn bridges in a moment of fury and not think twice about it. The shadow side of Aries doesn't believe in forgiveness. They only believe in domination, asserting their will and crushing opposition. It's not just anger, it's a hunger for destruction. Wrath is not a fleeting moment for Aries. It can become a lifestyle. Taurus, gluttony. Taurus, ruled by Venus, is a sign that loves the finer things in life: luxury, comfort, and indulgence. They are sensual beings who are deeply connected to the material world, and this can quickly spiral into gluttony. Gluttony isn't just about food. It's about overindulgence in anything that brings pleasure. When Taurus embraces their sin, they become insatiable. They want more of everything: more food, more possessions, more pleasure. Their desire to feel secure and comfortable can turn into hoarding, laziness, and an inability to say enough. Taurus gluttony isn't just physical, it's emotional too. They cling to relationships, even toxic ones, if it means maintaining their comfort zone. Taurus, when lost in gluttony, refuses to let go or show restraint. They are endlessly consuming without ever feeling fulfilled. Gemini Envy. Gemini is the sign of communication, wit, and adaptability, ruled by Mercury, the planet of intellect and speed. But Gemini's shadow is envy. They are natural chameleons, constantly aware of what others are doing and how they're living their lives. Geminis want it all: the attention, the success, the social circles, and they can become envious when they see others living the lives they covet. Envy is insidious in Gemini because it's masked by their charm. They may appear supportive, but deep down, they're comparing themselves to everyone. They become obsessed with how they stack up against others, losing their sense of identity in the process. Gemini's envy can drive them to sabotage others, spread gossip, or manipulate situations so that they can reclaim their place at the top. Envy makes them restless, forever chasing the next thing to fill the void left by their jealousy. Cancer Sloth. Cancer, ruled by the moon, is deeply emotional, nurturing, and intuitive. But when Cancer falls into their dark side, they become the embodiment of sloth. This isn't the physical laziness often associated with sloth. It's emotional and spiritual laziness. Cancer, when overwhelmed, retreats into their shell, avoiding the world and refusing to take responsibility for their emotional well-being. Sloth, in Cancer, manifests as an inability to move forward. They get stuck in their comfort zone, avoiding change and growth. They become passive-aggressive, expecting others to intuitively know what they need without ever communicating it. Cancer's sloth keeps them stuck in the past, reliving old wounds and refusing to let go of grudges. They wallow in their feelings, too apathetic to do the emotional work needed to heal. It's an endless cycle of self-pity and avoidance. Leo, Pride. Leo is the king or queen of the Zodiac, ruled by the sun, and naturally seeks admiration, attention, and validation. But when Leo succumbs to their shadow, they become consumed by pride. Leo's pride isn't just confidence, it's arrogance. They believe the world revolves around them, and they will do anything to maintain that illusion. Pride in Leo shows up as an inability to admit when they're wrong, an insatiable need for praise, and a sense of superiority over others. They become so focused on their image and reputation that they lose sight of their authentic self. A prideful Leo is one who demands loyalty and admiration, but gives nothing in return. They manipulate situations to keep themselves in the spotlight, unable to handle criticism or rejection. Their pride blinds them to their flaws, making them their own worst enemy. Virgo Greed. Virgo, ruled by Mercury, is analytical, detail-oriented, and service-focused. But when Virgo falls into their dark side, they become consumed by greed. This isn't the greed of wealth or possessions, it's the greed for perfection, control, and superiority. Virgo's shadow is their insatiable need to fix, improve, and control everything around them, including other people. Virgo's greed manifests as a desire to accumulate knowledge, skills, and accomplishments, but it's never enough. They are constantly seeking validation through their ability to be better, smarter, and more efficient than others. Their need for control can make them cold, critical, and detached from the emotional realities of those around them. They're greedy for control, for results, for perfection, and it's never enough. They lose sight of the beauty in imperfection and become enslaved to their impossible standards. Libra Lust. Libra is ruled by Venus, the planet of love, beauty, and relationships. At their best, Libras are diplomatic, charming, and deeply focused on harmony. But when Libra falls into their dark side, they embody lust. This isn't just sexual lust, although that can be a part of it. It's a lust for attention, for validation, for being desired. Libras lost in lust are obsessed with appearances. They use their charm and beauty to manipulate others, thriving on the adoration and affection they receive. But it's never enough. They lust after perfect relationships, perfect love, and perfect experiences, but they're often shallow and superficial. Their lust for connection makes them fickle in relationships, constantly seeking something or someone better, always chasing an ideal that doesn't exist. Lust consumes Libra, leaving them never satisfied, always wanting more. Scorpio Greed. Scorpio, ruled by Pluto, the planet of transformation and power, embodies another form of greed. This greed is not about possessions. It's about power, control, and domination. Scorpios are known for their intensity, passion, and desire for deep, meaningful connections. But when Scorpio embraces their shadow, they become obsessed with control of their emotions, of their relationships, and of the world around them. Scorpios' greed for power can turn them into master manipulators. They hoard secrets, withhold emotions, and play mind games to maintain control over others. Their need for dominance makes them paranoid and distrustful, always looking for hidden motives and plotting their next move. Scorpio's greed isn't just destructive to others, it's self-destructive, leading them into dark, obsessive patterns that are hard to break. Sagittarius. Gluttony. Again. Sagittarius, ruled by Jupiter, is the sign of expansion, freedom, and exploration. But when Sagittarius falls into their dark side, they become consumed by gluttony. Sagittarius, gluttony is not about food, it's about excess in all things. They want to experience everything life has to offer, and they want it now. This gluttony for experience leads Sagittarius to overindulge in adventure, knowledge, and even risk-taking behaviors. They are constantly searching for more experiences, more freedom, more excitement. But they never feel satisfied. The more they consume, the emptier they feel. This endless pursuit of more can lead Sagittarius to avoid responsibilities, commitments, and deeper emotional connections. Their gluttony makes them reckless, always chasing the next high, but never truly present. Capricorn Greed. Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, the planet of discipline, structure, and ambition. Capricorns are known for their relentless pursuit of success, authority, and status. But when Capricorn embraces their dark side, they embody greed in its purest form. Unlike Virgo's greed for perfection or Scorpio's greed for power, Capricorn's greed is centered around material wealth, social status, and external validation. A Capricorn, lost in greed, is willing to sacrifice anything to climb the ladder of success. Relationships, personal happiness, and even their health become secondary to their obsession with achievement. They're never satisfied with what they have. There's always a new goal, a higher mountain to climb. Capricorn's greed is relentless. It's a deep hunger for more that consumes their thoughts and actions. They measure their worth by their accomplishments and possessions, which means they never feel truly fulfilled. In their darkest moments, they use others as stepping stones and justify their ruthless behavior as necessary for success. Aquarius Pride. Aquarius is ruled by Uranus, the planet of innovation, rebellion, and individuality. Aquarians are known for their progressive thinking, humanitarian values, and desire to change the world. But when Aquarius succumbs to their shadow, they become consumed by pride. This pride is rooted in their intellectual superiority and belief that they're more evolved or enlightened than those around them. Aquarius pride shows up in their sense of moral or intellectual superiority. They believe they see the world more clearly than others, and this can make them dismissive, condescending, and detached. Aquarians in their pride look down on those who don't share their vision or values. They isolate themselves emotionally, thinking they're above the petty concerns of others. Their pride blinds them to their own flaws, making them rigid in their beliefs and unyielding in their opinions. Aquarius pride leads to a cold, detached arrogance that pushes others away, even as they claim to be fighting for humanity. Pisces Sloth. Pisces is ruled by Neptune, the planet of dreams, illusions, and spirituality. At their best, Pisces are compassionate, imaginative, and deeply intuitive. But when Pisces falls into their dark side, they embody sloth in its most dangerous form, spiritual and emotional apathy. While Cancer's sloth is about emotional stagnation, Pisces sloth is about escaping reality entirely. Pisces in their sloth disconnect from the world, retreating into their fantasies, addictions, or spiritual bypassing. They avoid responsibility and accountability, preferring to live in their dream world, where everything is easier and less painful. Their sloth manifests as escapism. They turn to substances, distractions, or spiritual illusions to avoid facing life's challenges. Pisces sloth makes them passive, allowing life to happen to them, rather than taking control of their destiny. They become martyrs, constantly playing the victim, refusing to take responsibility for their own lives. Now here's the part that might make people uncomfortable. No one is immune to these shadows. Every zodiac sign, no matter how high vibrational or evolved, carries the potential for one of the deadly sins. It's easy to dismiss these darker traits as just part of being human. But what if the zodiac is a map, not just to your strengths, but also to your inevitable weaknesses? For those who want to glorify their signs and focus only on the light aspects, this is your wake-up call. Your zodiac sign's deadliest sin is a reflection of your deepest, most ingrained shadow. Ignoring it doesn't make it go away. In fact, the more you resist acknowledging these flaws, the more they take over your life. But why should we care about the sins our zodiac signs represent? Because these sins are the invisible chains that keep us trapped. They're the subconscious behaviors and patterns that sabotage our relationships, our goals, and our spiritual growth. Aries might keep destroying their relationships out of uncontrollable anger, while Taurus could find themselves stuck in a loop of overindulgence and dissatisfaction. Gemini might sabotage their own success out of jealousy, while Cancer stays stuck in the past, too emotionally lazy to heal. Acknowledging these sins isn't about shame, it's about awareness. Once you recognize the sin your sign is prone to, you can begin the work of breaking free from its grip. It's not enough to say, "That's just how I am." Your zodiac sign gives you a framework, a blueprint of your soul's tendencies, and part of that blueprint includes your biggest weaknesses. Some of you might be thinking, "Well, that's not me." And that's exactly the point. These shadows aren't always visible on the surface. They lurk beneath, often manifesting in subtle ways that we fail to notice until it's too late. The deadly sin associated with your sign may not be the first thing you think of when you reflect on your personality, but it's likely there, influencing your life in ways you might not even realize. Think about it. How many times have you seen a Leo completely unable to handle criticism, or a Pisces retreating into unhealthy escapism rather than dealing with reality? These behaviors aren't accidents. They are the result of the zodiac's deep connection to the human experience, both light and dark. Here's where the real work begins. If you recognize the deadly sin associated with your sign, you can start working on yourself. Self-awareness is the first step towards self-mastery. We talk so much about the light side of astrology, how each sign brings gifts to the table, but the dark side is just as important. You can't truly grow unless you confront the parts of yourself that you'd rather ignore. So ask yourself, are you an Aries who's been living in constant anger, burning everything to the ground in a fit of wrath? Or are you a Taurus who's been too comfortable, stuck in gluttony, never feeling like you have enough? Maybe you're a Gemini who's been consumed by envy, always comparing yourself to others and never feeling satisfied. This isn't about judgment. This is about growth. The deadly sin of your zodiac sign is not a curse. It's an opportunity. It's a mirror, showing you exactly where your soul needs the most work. The question is, are you brave enough to face it? At the end of the day, we all have shadows. Every zodiac sign carries its own burden, its own sin, that threatens to undo us if we let it. But the power lies in our hands. We have the choice to acknowledge these sins, to work through them, and to transform them into strengths. Wrath, gluttony, envy, sloth, pride, greed, lust. These aren't just abstract concepts. They are living forces within us. The zodiac doesn't just tell you who you are at your best. It shows you who you are at your worst. The key to real transformation lies in accepting both. So, which deadly sin defines your zodiac sign? And more importantly, how are you going to rise above it?